But the whole purpose of this video is like, I call a lot of the guys the pandemic truckers that came in during the pandemic where things was kind of good, where they needed essential workers. What you had was you had a mass flock of people who became owner operators and started trucking companies, right? Some were successful, but some actually went under. A lot of people went under. I know a couple guys that lost their trucks, right? Now, I'm not saying it's bad or good if you do it or not. I'm just saying just learn the game so you don't get messed up like a lot of people did. A lot of people get messed up, you know. They catching a wave or riding a trend. And sometimes that works, sometimes it don't. But the trucking industry jacked up by itself because I call this like an opportunist. This industry is like an opportunist industry, like anything else, but with trucking it's more volatile opportunists. They look like sheep, but they wolves. Everybody trying to get over on each other. Everybody. You got the driver trying to screw over the company. You got, not all the drivers, not all companies either, but I'm talking about like as a I would say most, but I would say a lot of people in this industry are opportunists. You got people out there trying to reach your hand in your pocket to get your money, your dough. So it's kind of, this business is one of the businesses where it's like I call this like a magician business. Now guys, I'm not complaining. I'm just giving real talk. I get a lot of emails and people I talk to that say, well, I want to become an owner operator. I remember this one guy in particular, I ain't gonna say his name on here. I don't know, shout out to you though, for even talking to me about it. Because most people wouldn't say nothing about it, kept it to themselves. But anyway, he was like, he's doing $1,800 a week to $2,200, $2,400 a week. Bring home to his pocket as a company driver, right? As a company driver, not owner operator. And he was like, hey, I'm thinking about becoming an owner operator. And I was like, what'd you tell me you bring home again? And he told me. And I said, okay, what's the reason for being an owner operator? What's the reason for it? And he was like, well, I want to make more money. I'm like, what, you struggling now or something? That's pretty good money. But I never had a company driver position that paid nowhere near that. Nowhere near that. Now, if he was lying, I don't know. I'm not finna go in my man's pocket and say, hey, show me the stubs. But I'm just going off of what you're telling me and what's going on out here, what I see in the industry. And I've seen a couple companies over the years that actually paid close to that. That's company drivers, but I never worked for them. I knew people that worked for these companies. And those companies was a small niche company where you got to know some people to get into them companies. Like, if you ain't know nobody, you want to get in. You ain't see they companies on, they ads on Craigslist. Them wasn't that type of company, but anyway, I digress. So I said, you got a position like that and you want to make more money. I said, how much more money you want to make? He said, I own operators over here making about $5,000 to $7,000 a week. I said, okay. That on surface, that looks good. And I'm gonna get to this in a minute. On the surface, that looks amazing. His company driver position right now, job that he got right now, is actually pretty cool. He was one of them companies where they don't trip about you taking days off as long as you take too many, and as long as you communicate with them. And you make a decent money like that. Now the only downside is they deal with like the side of railroad that I don't like too much. The 20s and 40s. They deal with them. But other than that, if everything go right, you getting at minimum, you getting your $1,600 a week as a company driver. I said, what's your plan? What do you got? Well, I asked him what was his plan. We went to talking or whatever. And he's telling me his plan. I'm like, man, that plan don't sound too good for the risk you're willing to take for them extra couple thousand you make. You might spend that on a truck. Which brings me to my next point. I knew guys, and I still know guys to this day. In fact, I just know a guy recently went through 3 trucks. The last one, he threw a ride. Shout out to that brother, man. He got a real, that brother, he's real. What's that when you endure some stuff? You, not durable, you, what's that called? Anyway, I don't know. Anyway, so shout out to that brother. He tough. I just said he got the brain with to be tough because I think it was earlier this year, he blew a motor in another truck. Earlier last year, he blew a motor in another truck. This year, he blew a motor in another truck. It's like, and then before the motor blew, he was telling me that his truck was in the shop. So anyway, I was trying to explain to the other guy who I was talking to about becoming an owner operator. Even though he was an owner operator before, but it didn't work out, he became a company driver again, now he's back on the operator. And he's still a company driver now, but he want to become an owner operator. I told him, I said, hey, Bro, to be honest with you, man, I wouldn't make a move. Not with that plan you got. All you just want to make more money. I said, well, you can't manage the money you got now. What means you can manage more money you make? And then when more money you make, here's the thing that trick a lot of people. This ain't even a rant video. This is just people out there. If you want to become an owner operator, get a trucking company or whatever, you got to know these things. You got to know these things. The profit margins are not that big in trucking. I think people see the big numbers. When they do make big numbers, they believe that that's the money that's yours. They're not factoring in taxes, health insurance, especially if you're your own self-employed and everything. They not factoring in breakdowns and drivers leaving your truck somewhere or stealing your fuel or man, you name the expenses that can come in this business. I can name it down, itemize it down by down. But anyway, so if you break down all them numbers, the profit margins is probably 15, maybe 20% overall on the average. Matter of fact, the guy that I was talking about, shout out to you, man. My hats off to you. I tell you, boy, because I would have ran for the hills with the stuff he went through. But he's sticking it out. He's a tough cookie, man. Real tough cookie. So his truck went in the shop for a repair. It was leaking oil, right? They said, well, your oil is leaking from here, whatever. And then he put off the shop, the manager. The truck was in the shop for a week to fix I forgot what the name of that. It was like they had to take off the top half of the motor to get to the bottom, to get to that part to fix the gasket and put it back together. So anyway, they put it back together. A week later, he get 20 miles down the road, throw a ride. As soon as he leave the shop. So now he's in a position where he have to try to go after the company that supposedly fixed his truck. And now he went in for an oil leak. He come out with no truck. He come out with a truck, but he ended up with no truck. Because now the truck got to get towed to a safe haven until they sort out the details. If you do gotta go back to the shop, you gotta get towed back to the shop because it's not drivable because the motor locked up. He threw a ride. He showed me a picture of the ride hanging out the motor. It's a hole in the side of the engine. And I can't gonna lie, that stuff like that, especially what my man's went through, it'll be rough, man. So anyway, what I'm saying is, guys and gals, I'm sorry, I went down the rabbit hole. What I'm saying is, before you become an owner operator, consider these things. And if you're a truck driver and not an owner operator, it's this business, opportunist business, man. You just he goes a steel story real quick, and I'm gonna end this video, guys. I remember I was running bailed cardboard. You know how they bail up cardboard as a recycling company. And any of you guys that see my older video when I had the accidents, and I said I work for a recycling company, this is the company I'm talking about. I was doing runs that supposed to pay so much money, which I didn't know, and I kind of found out I wouldn't get paid nowhere near that. And this is where the opportunities of the company side come into play. I was making what, $13 or $14 an hour, somewhere up in there. I think it was $14 an hour to drive a semi. I'm gonna say that again for the people in the back. I was getting paid $13 or $14 an hour to drive a semi. And I wasn't even driving a semi all the time. I was mainly in a warehouse on some freaking Bobcat looking thing. Then when I wasn't on that thing, I was in a straight job, which I hated. But then when they finally did put me in a semi, I had 2 accidents in one night. But anyway, let's make them. Anyway, the video ain't about that, okay? The video is about I was getting paid $13, $14 an hour to drive a semi. I could have made more money as a warehouse worker. But when you don't know better, you can't do better. So anybody out here doing, like I talk to guys, they say, man, I just saved up $10,000 to buy me a truck. I was like, how was you able to save $10,000? I'm curious about that. Let me know. How was you able to do that with trucking? I'm trying to figure out how you would. If you're able to do that with trucking, I would take the $10,000. First of all, here's the nugget, and I'm gonna get off here. This is it, guys. First thing is, I would tell anybody, find out what you wanna do with the money you make, whether it's from trucking or anything, but I'm talking about trucking here. Find out what you want to do with the money you make. The extra, so quote unquote, extra money you think you could be making, which you may make it sometime, but I told you guys, you can have a 3-month span of good. 2 or 3 months could wipe out all that plus some. A lot of guys don't see that side of the game. But anyway, find out what you want to make, what you want to do with the money you make before you jump out there, take on more risks, and you don't even know the reward. I just want to make more money. I give you another $1, you got more money. What you gonna do with it? It's not enough. And once I give you that dollar, what you gonna do with the dollar to make sure it make more money? That's the purpose of working. This is a eye-opening experience, guys. You gotta be careful out here in the trucking business and when you become an owner operator. Alright, YouTube. Hope this video is helpful. Give you a little understand what's going around here. See you guys next video. Peace.